Thank you so much. And Madam Chair, like many this morning, I want to add my voice to the chorus of grateful members who are so grateful for your many, many years of service and your advocacy and your work on behalf of our science and technology enterprise. You will be so missed, and we wish you all the best in your retirement. So thank you so much for your service. And I'm excited to be here today to talk about an issue that is so important to my home state of New Mexico. You know, we're here to talk about semiconductors because they're essential to every aspect of our lives, to the functioning of our modern world, from powering our phones and our electric devices to powering our grid, and the technologies that will help us fight climate change and help to build the new world that we're all working so hard to build. And New Mexico is particularly well poised to help lead the charge here and help to ensure American leadership in microelectronics, thanks to our national laboratories and our commercial scientific industries and our private industry. So we are proud to be leaders in this field that will determine the direction of technologies for years to come. At Sandia National Labs, which is in my district, the labs have made groundbreaking discoveries for decades, changing technology as we know it. Last year, Sandia partnered with IBM to lead the field in research and development of next generation transistors called gate-all-around nanosheet field effective transistors that use less power and allow for faster computations. These transistors can help us continue Moore's law long beyond what we had previously thought. And Sandia is also working with the private sector to develop memory devices that have nearly unlimited endurance and withstand harsh environmental conditions that outperform current commercially based memory devices on the market. While Sandia has already developed partnerships with commercial partners for these projects, a lot of the work that happens in our national labs, as many of you know, actually never makes it to market. And so one of the things that we've been working on in this committee, and I've been working with my colleague, Senator Lujan, and others who signed on to our bill, which is the Partnerships for Energy Security and Innovation Act, is to create a nonprofit foundation that will help to align the R&D that happens at our national labs with the private sector so that we can bring these technologies to market and really bridge the lab to fab gap that we see in our science and technology enterprise. And once we get those technologies to market and out of the development stage, New Mexico stands ready to manufacture, to assemble, and to test those semiconductors because we are proud to host an Intel campus, one of the nation's leading integrated device manufacturers in Rio Rancho, which is in the greater Albuquerque area. Which announced earlier this year that it is investing $3.5 billion for the manufacturing of advanced semiconductor packaging technologies, which is expected to create thousands of jobs. So, as we've seen during the pandemic, semiconductors impact every aspect of our lives, and I look forward to working with the committee to bring manufacturing jobs back to our country and make sure that we are leading the way in research and development in these critical areas. But I think that one of the biggest obstacles that we face is the development of our STEM workforce. And we see this in New Mexico every day, where we have thousands of vacant positions in our national labs, in our engineering firms, in our research entities. And so I think one of the things that's really important, and I'd like to ask Dr. Witherell about this, in your testimony, you note the importance of workforce development to the future of domestic microelectronics. And you point out that this is especially relevant for our national labs, who of course rely not only on thousands of scientists, but also on skilled technicians. And so I wanted to ask you, Doctor, if you could talk a little bit about what you think Congress can do to help foster that STEM workforce so that we are prepared for the future.
Thank you very much. And I will say that we at Berkeley also partner with Sandia on our Quantum Systems Accelerator Center, where we are pleased to work with them. But all of the laboratories are working very hard on developing the STEM pipeline at every stage. Of course, the obvious thing is we have a large fraction of the postdocs working in these disciplines in the whole country are at the labs, and that's producing. But we're also trying to help with undergraduate education and K-12. And the fact New Mexico is a good example of this, where the laboratories there can have a very large impact on that institutional. But it's also true that for the security laboratories, workforce is the lab director's biggest problem. Actually, just to have the workforce to fill the pipeline at Sandia, Los Alamos, Livermore. So all of us are working on how to develop a large and diverse workforce that can feed these things, because in the end, the nation has to go faster than other nations.
Yes, thank you so much, Doctor. And I think you really put your finger on it, which is that we have to be building that pipeline from early childhood education, even through our K through 12 system. But we do have an immediate challenge of how do we get more STEM professionals into the workforce and working in our labs and our public institutions to ensure that we're at the forefront of this work. So I really appreciate your words and your good work. And with that, Madam Chairwoman, I yield back.